question is, are you ready?
What do you guys want to talk about?
Let me talk to you. Yeah.
Throwdown Nation, we are live. It is a Wednesday night. We are rolling on Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitter/X, on Facebook, and on Twitch. It is episode 150 of the Throwdown. Can't believe we've managed to pull off 150 of these. And tonight we are throwing down with Las Vegas-based pro wrestler and party guy, Thad Maximus. How you doing tonight?
Buddy, what's up?
Man, like I said before we went on the air, I've been looking forward to this one. And for those of you that are watching this live, if you have any questions or comments, just throw them in the chat and we'll either handle them as we go or do a little Q&A at the end. And looking over at the Instagram chat, we've already got, looks like Dr. The Wife and the real Amanda Storm in the Instagram chat.
The real Amanda Storm, hell yeah.
Yeah, as opposed to, I guess, the unreal Amanda Storm.
Yeah, right. The fan base one.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and start with the first and the most obvious question, and that is, how long have you been wrestling?
So I got my first match January of 2023. Before that, I had about a year and a half of training experience before they were finally like, yeah, I think you're ready to go. But yeah, so coming up on 3 years professionally.
Nice. So, you know, you mentioned the obvious training. Who actually trained you?
I got my training done at Santino Brothers Wrestling out in Bell Gardens, California, kind of near like East Los Angeles. I was living like in Van Nuys at the time, and there was a wrestling school in Van Nuys, like 10 minutes from my house. But I contacted my cousin's friend who did photography for PWG, Mikey Nolan Photography. Shout out to him. He told me to go to Santino's because he said that they're the best school in Los Angeles. And so I hit him up, and yeah, I totally agree. They really were a really great school, and I was really happy to get my training done there.
Absolutely. So in terms of the early portions of your training, what would you say was the most challenging aspect of professional wrestling for you to wrap your mind and body around?
I guess commitment, really. You know, you're doing. I always did like athletics in my life, but I never really did anything like professional wrestling, and it just really like humbled me. Like, okay, maybe I'm not the most athletic guy, so I guess trying to get my as far as like trying to get my head wrapped around it, it was a lot of just not really focusing on the conditioning aspect of it, but really how do I like turn that and kind of like make it into, a character thing. So because I guess that's what really wrestling is. Yes, there's a lot of cardio and conditioning and physical aspects behind it, but at the end of the day, we're telling a story. So that's what really mattered to me.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Um, so, I'm presuming that you've been at least a fan of this stuff the majority of your life. Is that fairly accurate?
I wouldn't say majority. I didn't really get into wrestling till I was about maybe like 9, 10 years old, and I really fell in love with it through the video games. At the time, my mom gave us the Nintendo DS, and
Hmm.
me and my brother shared a lot of games. One of his games was SmackDown versus Raw,
Yeah.
and so I started playing that, and I loved it. I loved the create a character mode. I loved the story mode. But at the end of the day, still thought that this was just a video game. Until like a couple months later, I was going through TV, and then I see, oh my God, Monday Night Raw with Shawn Michaels, John Cena, The Undertaker. I didn't know these guys were real.
Oh,
So yeah, that's kind of how I fell in love with it.
interesting. Interesting. So, you mentioned that prior to wrestling, you do have at least something of an athletic background. What sports did you play?
So growing up, it was a lot of baseball. Uh, and then once I got to high school, I got into football.
Hmm.
And then after that, when I went to college, I got into rugby, which I had a lot of fun with. Rugby was so much fun. And I kind of did it on out on a whim because one of my buddies at the time knew I played football and was like, "Hey, do you want to
Hmm.
come try out for rugby?" And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't want to get concussed, like, when I go out there. So, no, but I tried out and, yeah, no, I fell in love with it. And it sucks because while I was there, COVID happened and it
Hmm.
kind of shut down my rugby dreams that I was pursuing.
Gotcha. Gotcha. But yeah, yeah, man, rugby is a tough sport, and that is definitely no joke.
No, I remember one time, like my one of my first games I started playing. First play of the game, I butt heads with one guy and I get knocked loopy. Like I've never been knocked loopy before in my life. Before that,
Hmm.
uh, and I get down and I kind of look around and I realize nobody else is checking on me. So I just got up and just kept going as best as I could. But yeah, I still like loved the aggression, the aggressiveness of it. Um,
Oh yeah,
well, that's kind of what I really loved was aggressive sports.
yeah, yeah. My son, who is a junior in high school, is a lacrosse player, which
Okay. Oh yeah, those guys.
I mean, it's not quite the level of violence that you see in rugby or football, but there's definitely some contact.
I
I
mean, yeah. I
mean,
mean, they at least still have like a stick. They have a weapon that they can use.
yeah.
And the amount of times I've seen like these kids like swinging on each other, it's crazy.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's when he started playing, I knew nothing about the sport, and there's still a lot of just some nuances to it that I still don't fully understand. But it's been fun, watching him play and kind of learning it on the fly. So so at what point in your life did you know that you wanted to actually pursue being a wrestler?
Like I had this idea when I was a kid that I wanted to get into wrestling. When I told my mom that, she wasn't really that supportive of it. And then once that kind of happened, I kind of just like went into my other passion, which was acting.
Hmm.
So I went to acting school for most of my life, and I love acting. I had a lot of fun with it. Um, but once after COVID happened, because like I said, I was in school during COVID, and once that kind of happened, I kind of lost the passion for acting because just how much the business changed with COVID.
Right.
Um, so after I graduated college, I was just lost. I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't really like want to be an actor anymore. So thought about my other passion, wrestling, and I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna give it a shot. So yeah, that's what really got me into it. It was just like, let's see what I can do with this.
Gotcha. So, now that you're at the point where you're actively wrestling and actually in the business, what does your family think of all of this? What do they think about the fact that you're actually really pursuing it?
I mean, let's just say I love my family, and they are at almost every show that I'm booked for. But they're a little scared sometimes when I go out there and I get dropped on my head, or I'm coming off the top rope or stuff like that. It's just they get worried is really
Yeah,
the whole thing about it. But I still say, like, at the end of the day, they're at least supportive with coming to the shows and everything like that.
got you. So, away from wrestling, what are some of your other hobbies and interests?
Uh, I don't really have like a ton of hobbies. At least I don't really have time for hobbies. But I love wrestling. I love movies a lot.
Hmm.
I go to the movies almost every single day. Because I just love seeing stuff that I haven't seen before, or stuff that's new coming out that nobody else is seeing. I just love,
Hmm.
seeing a bunch of movies. I love music. I grew up on like a lot of music. Like I grew up with country music, and then I developed into like heavy metal music, and then I got into rap, and then I got into alternative. It's like I just love like all kinds of music.
Gotcha. So, we're mostly a wrestling oriented show, but we do dabble a bit into pop culture, and I'm always looking for recommendations. Have you seen, are you watching, or are you listening to anything really cool right now?
Oh man, what's cool right now? Oh, there's so much. Me first off. If
Of
you're not
course.
if you're not watching me, I don't know. I don't know, brother. You ain't the coolest guy in the room. But I think right now, what is really getting me going is the newest TikTok trend with Tyler the Creator. Have you seen this guy?
Okay. I'm not sure if I may or may not. I'm a little behind the curve with TikTok, I'm afraid.
It's okay. Get a TikTok, follow Tyler the Creator. Another one you need to get down with is this new drink that I'm creating uh,
Okay.
in pop culture. It's called Thaddy's Jungle Juice.
Okay.
Basically, it's 2 bottles of tequila, half a bottle of watermelon juice, and then you're gonna throw in a whole like box of bitters. You know what bitters are?
Yeah.
Yeah, whole box of bitters. Throw it right in there, and then finish it off with Everclear top, and then light it on fire, and then you have to chug it.
Nice.
It sounds like a great time to me.
Yeah. Have you survived the experimentation phase of it? I guess you have.
Oh no, 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 no! I'm not trying this. I usually just hire people for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So far, I mean, it hasn't been positive, but they're still alive. So
Yeah. They may be forever changed,
yeah, yeah.
but
I mean, they knew what they were signing up for. But
yep.
yeah,
So, out outside of wrestling, what person inspires you the most and why?
mm, outside of wrestling, I don't know. I think when I really think of inspirations, I think of myself.
Yeah.
I inspire myself, brother, day in and day out. I love what I do, and the fact that I'm still alive is basically what keeps me going. I wake up every day, re- look right in the mirror, and realize, hey, Thad, you're not a good person.
But
No, but in all seriousness, actually, the person that inspires me most is actually my mom. My mom has always been my biggest supporter, and I love her every day for that. She's a warrior. She's been through a lot, and the fact that she raised me and my brother her whole life by herself was just enough for me, to love her.
that's awesome. That's awesome. And it's awesome that you love you some you.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, how can you not love yourself?
Exactly. Exactly. So you're a Las Vegas guy. What is your favorite thing about the Vegas area?
Uh, Man, the fact that the parties never stop.
Yeah.
I remember one time, me and my buddies went to this club that we tried to get into. It was like a very exclusive nightclub, and we were waiting there for hours, hours, and hours, until finally we realized that it's 3 in the morning, and we've just been standing there for the most part. So we went to this other club that we found out has no fee, no door. Walked right through. Turns out it was a gay club.
Ah,
So we honestly were so tired of standing around. We said, "Screw it, let's go." We had the time of our lives, man. The gay people loved us there. They were getting all over us, giving us free drinks. Oh man, it was so much fun. I think that's the biggest thing about Las Vegas is how much the gay culture takes care of your back here.
gotcha. So, they say that the best wrestling personas are usually pretty much yourself kind of turned up to 11. So tell us about in-ring Thad and compare and contrast him with everyday you, or is it a case of what you see is what you get?
I mean, for the most part, it's what you see is what you get. I kind of just like take that you know phrase and just really live with it. It's hard in wrestling to like play something that you have no idea about. Like
Right.
I know guys that have like the MMA gimmick, but then they haven't even been to a karate class at least. Like they have no mixed martial arts background. And it's just crazy to me. It's like how you gonna make people believe that that you're an MMA guy, and so how are people gonna believe that Thad is Thad? Well, I look the part, I talk the part. If it looks like a duck and it acts like a duck,
It's a duck.
it's a duck. Yeah.
So tell us about your very first match. What was it like? How did it go? What were your thoughts? Lay it on us. Tell us about the first one.
So actually the very first one that I had, like at least in front of a crowd,
Hmm.
I was a masked luchador named Johnny Diabolico Jr. Um,
Nice.
and I was part of this like Fourth of July free show,
Hmm.
and it was like a 8 man like scramble match, and I lost obviously, but that was my like first like in wrestling. But my first as Thad was against Richie Coy, who I love and is someone who was with me a lot in training,
Hmm.
and someone who I considered or still consider a very good friend. And they're very super talented, and I couldn't think of a better opponent for me to learn from. I was kind of like a little upset because in the match there were like things that we were supposed to have a little bit more time in our match,
Hmm.
but it got cut short, which I was a little upset about. But that's why I really hope to wrestle with Chikoi again in the near future. But yeah, that was my first like introductions into wrestling.
Gotcha. So, we've heard about the first ones. Now, if you can narrow it down, tell us about your favorite match that you've been a part of.
I would say the match I had at the beginning of this year with Slice Boogie, who is in my opinion, like one of the most underrated guys on the independent scene, like the entire independent scene. Like this guy needs to be on every show. He's also another guy that really helped me in training at Santino Brothers,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just really loved getting into that match, and it was just a hard hitting match for me. Probably like the hardest match I've ever had, but I think it just like go to show like I can still go because I think that was the biggest thing for me because at the time I was kind of like losing interest in wrestling
Mm-hmm.
before that match, and I just thought like, man, if this match doesn't go well, then I don't know what I'm gonna do, and then go out there and credit to Slice. You know, Slice is he's a worker. He's a freaking worker. Um, so when we had the match, I just felt so good, and everything went well, and even Slice, gave me his praises. I just
That had to feel
loved that.
good.
It felt really good. And it just made me like realize like I think I still like this. Like I feel like I can still keep going with this.
Gotcha. So, what is the longest you have traveled to get to a match?
I had to drive from yeah, from Los Angeles all the way to Arizona, like Phoenix, I think it was about 6-7 hours both ways. That was
Mm-hmm.
actually the one of the shows that I did, the 4th of July show.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, no, sorry, yeah, no, that was a different show, but it was from LA to Arizona, so 6-7 hours, and it was like a Taco Fest show actually. Um, the Taco Fest that Little John, T Pain do. It was just a lot of fun, but
Nice.
it was a long, long drive.
No doubt. So, you've been doing this long enough that I'm sure you have them at this point. And what is your biggest in ring pet peeve?
I mean, I don't want to bury anybody, but because
You,
a lot of wrestlers do. A lot
you
of
don't have
wrestlers
to
do
name
that.
names, but
Right? No, it's just that when it comes to pet peeves, I think my biggest thing. I mean, let me just say, I'm not the best worker. Like I'm not saying like I'm not trying to give anybody advice here, but I hate when people don't sell. I think that's the biggest thing in wrestling
hmm
that I hate about it. Everybody sells the exact same. And it really makes me irritated because, I grew up in 2010s with a lot of great sellers like Dolph Ziggler, for
hmm
example. I loved the way he sold. The Miz is also a really good seller.
hmm
But I really am a big fan of people taking this move and turning into like, oh my god, this freaking hurts.
Yeah.
Because if you don't sell for me, brother, I'm gonna make you sell. I'll
Yeah.
find a way.
Gotcha. So, I know that there are essentially two and a half ways of preparing for a match. You can either work it out with your opponent in the back, you can call it in the ring, or kind of do a hybrid of both. Do you have a preference?
I tend, I mean, I guess it really depends on the match, but I tend to like call big moments in the match, like the climaxes in the match, and then kind of
hmm
like break it down of like, okay, well, then how do we get to that climax? So
Gotcha.
there are moments where it would be like, hey, we're gonna do this, but before that, let's just mess around for a little bit before we
Gotcha.
finally get to there. So it is a kind of a hybrid of both sometimes.
Gotcha. So, and this question I have asked in every single one of these, and I love this question because it ends up being almost a 50-50 split, and everybody has unique reasons why they answer this one way or the other. And the question is, if you could only be one, would you rather be great in the ring or great on the mic, and why?
I mean, Man, that's tough. If I had to choose one or the other, sometimes I think like I'm already like pretty decent at the mic where I could use the better in ring work. At the end of the day, everybody wants to talk, like everybody wants to talk like guys like The Rock. They want to talk like, you know, Stone Cold Steve Austin. They want to talk like Roddy Piper. Um, but, you know, everybody wants to talk like that. You got to find your own ways to
Yeah,
talk. So I would probably pick better in the ring.
gotcha. So, in your 3 years that you've been doing this, what has been the most unique or strange encounter with a fan that you've had?
Uh, oh, kids hate me. They kids really, really hate me, and I'm really proud of it. I remember I've had water, like bottles of water, be thrown at me,
Hmm.
cups of stuff be thrown at me, all by kids. I remember one show. There was this kid who had a Thad Maximus sucks sign, and I ripped it up. Um, and then later in the show, I was like later in like this battle royal. I find him later in the crowd, and he taped the sign back up together. So, like a true heel, I went back out and ripped his sign up again into smaller pieces. And then I went back in the ring, did my stuff. And then after I got like eliminated, and I'm like selling on the ground, the kid comes up to me with his ripped up sign and just throws it at me as I'm just laying there. And I'm just like, this freaking kid, I'm gonna kick his ass.
That's awesome. So, in terms of your in-ring work and your promos, who or what would you say are some of your influences?
Uh, I tend not to like. I would say like, cause like it's hard for me to like find influences because I try to like make my own stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I always get scared like as like an entertainer to like steal somebody else's flow or property. It's kind of like a lot of like, musicians do. Like one of my
Hmm.
favorite musicians, Tame Impala, says he doesn't listen to any new music because he's scared he's going to take from it. So I always try to go back to the you know older days for the most
Right.
part, because I'm trying to like find more serious things to say. 'Cause I think back then, like the stuff that these guys said is crazy. Like Hulk Hogan comparing his bicep to like a freaking missile because of like the president was going to send missiles.
Yeah.
um, so like, but like stuff like that, like it's just like so like oh my god, like what are you saying? So guys like Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior, they're saying a bunch of nonsense,
Oh, yeah.
but
But it's
you
so
you
over the
can't you can't
top
take your
that,
eye
yeah. Yeah.
you can't take your eyes off them.
Yep. So, do you have an all-time favorite match as a fan? A match that just really spoke to you, and it's like comfort food. You find yourself going back to it, and it just never really gets old. Do you have a match like that?
It's hard for me to like find favorites. I think like I always say the first match I ever saw um, was The Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels in the Streak versus Career match
Oh yeah.
from WrestleMania 26. That was like my first like ever like watching of wrestling, and oh my god, I still love watching that match back. I really got me into like Japanese wrestling was Kenny Omega versus
Oh yeah.
Kazuchika Okada. Because at the before then, I was kind of just watching like WWE. Sometimes there was WWE TNA, maybe sometimes Ring of Honor, but I never really got into Japanese wrestling until I saw that match, and I just
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
fell in love.
That series of matches will change your life.
Yeah, yeah, no, I love the story with like Kenny trying to get the title, and he's like, I loved that story, and I loved that Kenny won in the end.
Gotcha. So, piggybacking on that question, Do you have an all-time favorite promo?
Oof. Recently, I really loved MJF's promo that he did. It was like one of the, it was whatever the last pay-per-view that they did, where MJF lost
Where
to
he wrestled
Hangman.
Hangman? Yeah.
Yeah, where he wrestled Hangman, and then afterwards, Tony Khan was like, "Oh, the person with the contract has to let him know a week before for the cashing in." And then MJF like cut like a whole promo on that, and he just looked like really intense. I love what MJF is doing. I've loved him like ever since he started.
Yeah,
he's like literally like my favorite wrestler out there right now.
Yeah, I mean, he and the thing about MJF that I really dig is, he came in, with otherworldly gift of gab. And during the last few years, he has really put in the work to really become a solid in-ring worker as well. And I love seeing somebody who's, exceptional in one area actually work to become exceptional in both. Like another example is Will Ospreay. He came into AEW just otherworldly in the ring, but when he was in Japan, he had never really had that much opportunity to talk. And he's turned out to be a phenomenal talker as well, And speaking of him, man, I'm hoping for a good outcome for his neck and back surgery he's fixing to undergo, because
it's serious.
That dude is amazing.
He really is. Wish him the best.
So, in your opinion, obviously excluding yourself, but who are the best male and best female wrestlers in the world right at this moment? Who's the best man and who's the best woman?
I mean, if we're talking like all over the world, I would still say MJF. I feel like he's entertaining in everything. As far as the ladies go, I really love Toni Storm. I think this whole like Hollywood character.
It's been great.
Because I loved that style of filming, like Sunset Boulevard or the Miracle on 34th Street. So, like I love that style of films. So seeing her mimic that is just like absolutely entertaining to me.
And it has been so well executed, I mean,
100%.
I mean, she is doing the best work of her career without a doubt now.
No, so. It's really good. I can't wait to see like what she does in the future.
Oh, absolutely. So, who would be, and this can be present day or past, who would be a dream opponent for you? Who would Thad Maximus love to have the opportunity to share a ring with?
I mean, I keep bringing his name up, but MJF is one of them. All time, I'd say John Cena. I feel like the way he works as a babyface as well, and I feel like that would help with my heel style if I ever like try to work it. But those two usually go. I always say Logan Paul just to see like what he can do. I mean, obviously he's good in the ring, but like I don't know. Sometimes I want to see like how he does like in other different style of wrestling.
Right. I've got to say this past weekend's match that he had with Cena finally really kind of convinced me about Logan Paul. I've been kind of poo-pooing him. The main problem I've had is, and it comes with being I guess more of an old school fan, is I feel like to some extent the guy comes in, he's this YouTube star, and he came in and he stayed which was something that you don't see out of a lot of celebrities. You know, they'll usually kind of hit and run. But he stuck around and he put in the work, and he has become a pretty darn good professional wrestler. But I've still just sort of had this lingering resentment toward him because I feel like to some extent he came in and he potentially took a slot away from somebody that has been working their ass off to get to an upper tier position. So I've sort of, you know, that's sort of been sticking in my craw with him for a while. But, you know, watching him and Cena this weekend and seeing some of the stuff that they both were busting out during the match, you know, things that they normally haven't been using in their normal wrestling repertoire. I was finally like, okay, you know, this guy has earned his slot. So anyway.
Yeah, no.
So of your cohorts out on the indies, your buddies, your coworkers, the people that you know out on the indies right now, who has the best walkout?
The best walkout on the indies? Ooh.
Yeah, of people you know. Who do you think has the best walkout and the best presentation as they come to the ring?
There's so many. Mariachi Montaña, they're a tag team out here in Vegas. Whenever they come out, the crowd just goes insane, dude. Like, they are awesome to see walk out. Another one would be Moizilla out in Orange County. He just has like the best gear. Like, he looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I see him walk out, like his wings and shit, it looks really cool. Man, there's like so many. Zoe Dubois, Black Swan out here has a really good walkout. I've always loved Raunchy Rico, who is also from Santino's. He has his own theme song, and it is awesome. Like, and I really wish I had it as my ringtone because it's so catchy and it's so funny. And it's just every time like I'm on like a show with him, I always make sure like I go out of my way just to watch his entrance because it's just so awesome.
Very cool. So, what is your favorite move? What is something you just really enjoy doing? And on the flip side of that, is there a move that you either won't do or you would rather not do, and that can be giving or receiving?
Man, I love kicking people in the dick, dude. Like, it is my favorite move in wrestling. Like, I usually end up getting away with it, and I end up getting the win with the most part.
Mm-hmm.
It's become old reliable at this point.
Yeah.
I would say I tend to like, you know, keep myself open with trying new moves. You know, I'd say just one thing I really won't do is deathmatch wrestling. Not my favorite. I mean, would I do like a hardcore match? Sure, but like those guys that are using like weed whackers on each other or freaking scissors, like I'm good.
Yeah. You know, I've had a few deathmatch guys come on the show, and you know they are some interesting characters. I mean,
I
you know,
respect them. Like,
yeah,
to each their own.
yeah. I mean, you know, deathmatch is not something that I seek out, but I mean, you know, I can watch it and I can appreciate the fact that they managed to do this and somehow get through it at least relatively unscathed, maybe. I mean, you know, compared to what the outcome could be.
Right, it's called a death match, so
Yeah, it's yeah, like I said, you know, not entirely my cup of tea, but I can definitely respect those guys that are going out there doing it, you know. But wow.
it's crazy.
Yep. So, you know, you've been doing this long enough that this probably applies to one degree or another. So I'll ask, what hurts right now? Sorry.
You asked. Let's see. Let's start with my right knee. My right knee's been kind of bugging me recently. What else? I mean, I have this like bruise on my elbow. I mean, it's going away kind of, but I have that. Let's see. My lower back really hurts. The left trap kind of hurts. The left trap kind of hurts really well. I think that's it right now.
So it might have been easier to ask what doesn't hurt.
Yeah. Like, my left leg's good.
So over the course of your almost 3 years doing this, what is the worst bump you have taken?
Oof. I mean, I guess the two come to mind. The one that like knocked the wind out of me was against the last my last match with Slice Boogie, the one I was talking about.
Yeah.
He gave me like a release World's Strongest Slam,
Mm.
and for whatever reason, I chose not to breathe. So when I took it, I just completely, and then. Funny enough, Slice also followed up with like a big elbow drop, and I'm just like, oh, I just did not. I had to roll away and be like, give me a minute. But I also have bumped regretfully on thumbtacks before. Yeah, not fun, and it's something that I wasn't really expecting in that match because it was kind of like they told me it was going to be like a hardcore scramble. And if there's tacks in there, you can just roll out. I'm like, all right, cool. But then I end up being in the ring with some tacks, and I had to take this bump, and I'm just like, all right, I'm out.
So, how many tacks got pulled out of you?
To be honest, it didn't seem like there were a lot. I think like maybe like five to six. But like when I took it, it was just like, oh my god, because there's thumbtacks there. So once you take it, you're like, oh my god, how many are in me? And then you find out, like, it's not that much. You're fine.
Yeah. Talking to the deathmatch guys, interestingly enough, the thing they all hate bumping onto is Legos.
I mean, that doesn't sound fun.
No, I mean, just stepping on a Lego is bad enough.
Right.
I couldn't imagine, taking a power bomb or something onto Legos. That would just be pretty horrendous.
Yeah, no, I'd rather do thumbtacks.
Yeah. So looking over at the Instagram chat, the Cincy Wrestling Enthusiast is in the chat. Captain Dave Spieler is in the chat, and Joe Farina Morelos is in the chat.
Hell yeah.
So,
wait, Joe, I know Joe. What's up, Joe?
And any of you in the chat, if you've got questions or comments, definitely let us know. We'd love to hear your thoughts, opinions, questions, any of that good stuff.
Roast me in the comments.
So, what is your take on the role that social media is playing as a promotional tool in wrestling, specifically indie wrestling?
I mean, it's good and bad, like it really depends on like what the coverage is, or like like what social media is really posting. Something that like really irritates me is the fact that wrestling right now, especially independent wrestling, is getting a huge buzz because someone tried to kill another wrestler in the ring.
Yeah.
Like, this is like literally TMZ is reporting it, the new, like, it's everywhere right now. And I think like this is just getting a bad rap because it's just it makes people think that this is what wrestling is
I know.
A bunch of like drunk veterans going after an MMA fighter, and that said MMA fighter being a complete dickhead, and try to kill him. It like the whole situation is completely fucked up, and it really like upsets me to a degree. Um, but it's I think that's again like one of those things where like social media can improve wrestling, but it can also like negatively affect it.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And I don't want to dwell on that whole situation, but do you think Knox Pro survives this, or do you think they're pretty much done?
I just let me say this. Like I think Knox Pro is a great school. There's a lot of great trainers there. There's a lot of good people there. It is sad to see what has come in light of this, and I
Yeah,
appreciate everybody that's been speaking out on it. Um, I think it's really up to everybody to see like what's to come next. Like
yeah,
like Raja should get arrested, and then there should be a public statement soon by Knox Pro.
yeah.
But again, like it's not my company, but I respect them and
Oh,
whatever it
yeah,
is that they're gonna do.
absolutely. So, knowing everything that you know at this point in your life, if you could give any advice to your younger self, what would it be?
I would say just be patient, really. It be a lot of obstacles coming through, but eventually, it all works out in the end, and that's kind of what I always tell myself is just be patient.
Gotcha. And in the event that some young person happens upon this that is thinking about going into the business, do you have any advice for any young people that are looking to break in?
Yeah, I mean, one, you have to be coachable. Wrestling is one of those things where you can't just like pick up out just like that. It takes time and it takes commitment.
Yep.
Really be committed to training and because this is what you want to do. I remember when I first started, I only started going like twice a week, and then I realized I wasn't getting better, so I started going 3 times a week, then 4 times a week, then 5 times a week, and then like usually, like I would do my very best to like be in that ring and practice. So I think that's just what somebody who is getting into wrestling should have in their mind is just, hey, like spend your time here.
Yep. Reps, reps, reps.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have any pre-show traditions? Any things that you try to do consistently before you go through the curtain?
Get drunk. That's one of. uh, I tend to just like wander for the most part in my gear.
Hmm.
Uh, kind of just like get like before. It's usually before the curtain comes out that like I start to like get into like full Thad mode. Um, but for the most part, it's just me just wandering, going over the match in my head, and just talking to other people, bothering other people.
Got you. So, just kind of a quick rundown. What do you carry in your gear bag? And do you have anything unique or unusual that you carry?
I have an empty beatbox can in my in my bag. I have a bucket hat. I have a fanny pack. I think I have 2 fanny packs now. Uh, let me think. Oh, I'm pretty sure I have some change in there, just like random ass change that I can use. But yeah, other than that, it's just my gear, multiple forms of my gear.
Got you. So, if you can narrow it down to one, do you have a favorite venue to wrestle at?
Mm, I kind of like I like the veterans halls. Veterans halls
Hmm.
are usually really nice. The one I work with at we're in the List Pro Wrestling in Orange, California. They have a really good size hall, and usually the crowds are loud in there, so it's really nice. Uh, I've always wanted to wrestle at the crypto, well now called the Crypto Center, but the Staples Center when I was growing up.
Oh yeah.
Because I was just like a venue I went to my whole life, going to like Laker games and concerts
Hmm.
growing up. So I think that's just a dream of mine is to wrestle there.
Gotcha. Sort of revisiting the question that we did earlier about Las Vegas. What was your favorite thing about Los Angeles?
Oh man, the food. They had some real. I miss the ghetto street carts with the taco trucks and
Yeah, the
oh
street
man,
tacos.
yeah man, oh it was so good. I guess also like I love Vegas's nightlife, but the LA nightlife is just it's different.
Mhm.
It's a little bit more. You can find like a little bit more calmer places than out here. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much what I miss about LA.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, something that we've done in all of these that's just been kind of fun is we've let the current guest pose a question for the next guest. So one of my previous guests, a wrestler from Brooklyn, New York, by the name of Logan Black, posed this question, and that is, who is your favorite comic book character and why?
Uh, I'm gonna say this because I saw one of the movies last night, Batman. I grew up on the Batman movies,
Hmm.
uh, both both animated and real. And then like last night I saw The Dark Knight again, which I forgot how much I love that movie.
Oh yeah,
Uh, but I would say Batman.
yeah. I've always dug Batman myself, and I think the reason is because he doesn't have superpowers. He's just a
Right.
guy that has trained his body, to do all of these amazing things.
Yeah, he
But
kicks
he's
ass.
just a guy. you
He
know.
just kicks a lot of ass.
Yeah, yeah. So, since this is part of a series, do you have a question that you would like to pose to the next guest?
Ooh, let me
And it
ask him
can
anything.
be anything, yeah.
Right. Let me think. Trying to see if I want to do. He said it was a comic book character, so maybe I'll do mine with wrestling. I would say I would ask them. Hmm, no, that's too basic. If you could. Hmm, all right, yeah. If you could have three things in wrestling, what would it be? Would it be no injuries? Would it be able to call things on the fly, just like that? Or uh, what was it? Injuries, able to call things on the fly. Oh yeah, never have to train again.
I like that. How would you answer that?
I would say be able to call things on the fly. That's what I would want.
Yeah. Yeah, just be able to just sort of magically construct a match.
Yeah, like do like what the Eddie Guerreros or the Triple H's or the Shawn Michaels can do is just be
Oh
able to
yeah.
call stuff out there without anything.
Yep. Yep. So, we're getting toward the end of things now. So, do you have any upcoming shows or anything at all that you would like to give some hype to?
I have two coming up next weekend. First one is going to be for Relentless Pro Wrestling in Orange, California. I'm wrestling against Raymond Bright, who did the New Japan Academy. He is so freaking good, dude. And I wrestled him back in July, and we had a really good match. And this one is just going to be much better. And then the next night for Rebellious Championship Wrestling in Hawaiian Gardens,
Hmm.
also in California, I'm going to be wrestling Vito Fratelli in the main event. He's big, 400-pound Italian guy. So like, I can't wait. It's like fighting a mob boss. I'm very excited.
Yeah. So, as far as what we've got coming up here on the Throwdown, um, tomorrow night, Thursday, September 4th, at 7 p.m. Eastern. I've got episode 151, and my guests are going to be an Orlando, Florida-based tag team, Kid Kuda and Reese Maddox. They are, I sort of know them as a tag team, but they also compete regularly as singles wrestlers as well. And they are flat tearing it up in the Indies in Florida, and they're starting to branch out into other areas of the country as well. So it's definitely going to be fun to have the chance to talk to them. And then on Friday, we're actually bringing back my earlier series, The Lowdown with Matt, which is a music-oriented show. And, when I first got started streaming, which was January of 2024, I was actually doing live stream chats with unsigned bands. And this is basically some old friends of mine, some previous guests, a band out of Lynchburg, Virginia called A Day in Pompeii. And they reached out to me recently, and they've got some new music coming out on Friday, and they wanted to come on the show and basically kind of premiere their new song, Gorgon's Head, and basically talk about what's been going on and, what the creative and recording process for the new song has been, and really just kind of take some time to catch up a bit. So I'm looking forward to that. I expanded the content into wrestling in July of last year, and I discovered fairly quickly that it was easier in general to get reliable bookings from wrestlers than it was for musicians. So I quickly shifted the majority of the focus into wrestling, but having the opportunity to still do some music-oriented episodes here and there has really been a lot of fun as well. And then next Monday, the 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern, I've got a rescheduled episode 145, and my guest is going to be a guy based here in Atlanta. He is a pro wrestler and also a ring gear designer, a guy named Jimmy Darren. We had tried to have him on previously, and there were some technical difficulties, and it ended up not working out. But we've been able to get the issues sorted out, and we've got him rescheduled for this coming Monday. And then finally, next Wednesday, the 10th, at 7 p.m. Eastern, I've got episode 152, and my guest is going to be Iowa-based pro wrestler, the Ultimate Diva, Izzy B. And she is a graduate of the Black and Brave Wrestling Academy out there in Davenport, Iowa, trained under Seth Rollins and Merrick Brave and Matt Mayday. And she's making a name for herself on the Midwest scene and is also starting to branch out to other regions. So before we wrap all this up, Thad, do you have any final words for the audience? Any final thoughts? Anything profound?
Yeah, follow me on Instagram if you want to see me get drunk and review food. And then if you want to see me wrestle, follow me there too, and post about all the times I'm wrestling. And hit up your local promoters. Tell them you want Thad Maximus on your show.
Absolutely. Well, for those of you that have been watching this live, thank you. For those of you that'll be seeing this on replays and such, thank you for that. If you like what we've got going here, all of my socials are on my link tree in my bio on Instagram, and do me a favor and do the old like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until tomorrow night at 7 Eastern with Kid Kuda and Reese Maddox, be good to each other, love each other, and let's